Hi guys, welcome back to another video in the r/PettyRevenge subreddit. I have 3 petty revenge stories for you today, the best involving a neighbor feud, in which OP's neighbor even goes as far as to spray poison onto OP's tomato plants. So in return, OP unleashes an army of ants onto the neighbor's lawn, house, and deck. I guess you could say that OP releases the crack ants. Do not hurt the tomatoes. Once, many years ago, we innocently bought a house next door to a retired Marine couple. She was about 6'2" and strongly resembled Arnold, it's not a tumor, in his current state, and he was about 5'7" and probably weighed 130 pounds. They were very house/yard proud and thoroughly obnoxious about it. After living next to them for a short time, for some unknown reason, they decided to mount a campaign of general obnoxiousness against us. It started small, a note on a friend's car that he was 3 inches over on their side when parked on the street in front of our house. Then it escalated rapidly. They reported us to animal control for farm animals inside the city limit. We had 2 Shih Tzus. They were not used to pull a plow. They reported us to the health department for leaving our pool with a small amount of water in it and breeding mosquitoes. It was hydrochloric acid being used to wash the pool and prep it for repair as it was derelict when we moved in. They reported us for repairing our fence without a permit, not moving it, not tearing it down or replacing it. We merely nailed some boards back up. They reported us for loud parties and quiet parties and no parties. They called City Hall on us so often it became a joke amongst those hollowed halls. All the while they continued with the small harassments as well. We ignored all of this, just making sure we had an extra plate for whatever official they called out that day. But then they committed the ultimate crime. We were breakfasting on the patio one lovely morning when I happened to look over and see a sprayer nozzle come through the fence slats, and they sprayed poison on my tomato and jalapeno plants. Now we love our salsa, and I make an absolutely exquisite fresh salsa, and they dared spray poison on my tomato and jalapeno plants. Poison my tomatoes and peppers, will you? In Texas, that's a killing offense. Sadly, we did not live in Texas, so I was forced to devise my own punishment. One thing about their house is that it must have been built on an ant hill. They constantly fought ants. We regularly heard them complaining about ants as they tried to rid them from their backyard. Our homes were built on a golf course, and being considered patio homes, all had lovely large patios with huge kitchen windows with sliding glass opening onto a pass-through/serving counter. So I made a very large batch of simple syrup and froze it in ice cube trays. Friends and I would sit on our patio and toss ice cubes. We had a point system that ranged from getting the cubes on the patio, to getting them up against the base of the sliding door, to getting them onto the counter, and up against the opening of the window. We gave them ants, lots of ants. Not being particularly close neighbors, the remains gave us no warning when they went on vacation. We did notice it got quieter, and I didn't overhear any further discussion between them about the sticky mess that regularly showed up on their patio, but I didn't really think about it. Besides, I was behind on points, so the bombardment continued. The ants celebrated. They sent out telegrams worldwide inviting all of their relatives to move. They had found paradise. The grass was green, and there were regular supply drops. They invaded. There were tiny black ants, larger brown ants, and big red ants. Hosannas were sung. They built neighborhoods of McAnsions. Ant Rockettes did the can across the counter. They held parades. There were Friday night fiestas with live ant mariachi bands. It was beautimous. I went through 3 5-pound bags of sugar. We knew exactly when the Marines got home from their 6-week cruise. We could tell by the screeches of anguish. Apparently the ants had made their way inside. There were screams from the kitchen and the pantry, and the laundry room and the bathroom. It was ear-shattering. Who knew a 5'7" male could even make those sounds? Battle was enjoined. The army ants dug foxholes and built redoubts. The fire ants formed special forces teams and close protection units. The war raged for months. Despite regular resupply, the ants were decimated. The Marines were seen collapsed in patio chairs, hollow-eyed with exhaustion, their once pristine backyard closely resembling the aftermath of the Battle of Ypres. Peace talks were held. Détente was achieved. Calm reigned on Avenida Pancho Villa, until the Marines got their second breath and reinforcements in from their son, the Marine Jr. Further shenanigans ensued, and yours truly discovered that raccoons are not only exceedingly dexterous, they are inordinately fond of overripe figs. But that's another tale. I love a beautiful revenge story that is also beautifully written. I hope OP writes another story about World War R, the R of course standing for raccoon. I also couldn't stop imagining Shih Tzus with little plows strapped to them. Cutest farm animals ever, however, probably not the most effective. All I have left to say about this though is, well done OP, well done. Don't be an ass to your support staff. I worked as a receptionist for 2 years, and 90% of our business were walk-ins since we were usually too busy to have appointments. The office consisted of 2 office staff and 5 main professional staff. It was a stressful job, but was a good way to get my foot in the door. One particular professional looked down on the office staff and made our lives difficult every day. Examples include regularly telling us she wouldn't be seeing any customers due to headaches, would make passive-aggressive jokes and be upset when we didn't laugh because they weren't funny, trying to blame us when customers lied about what services they needed during check-in, calling the front desk to yell about how many customers are waiting, disappearing for chunks of time between customers to avoid seeing more customers, keeping customers checked in on the electronic list to avoid seeing more customers, would be busy with projects when it was their turn to work late, so we'd have to turn away customers. They never got fired because we had a hell of a union, so she was constantly on probation and did the bare minimum. I left that job a year ago and found another job within the same organization. Someone in our department is preparing to retire soon, and we were discussing possible internal promotions. This is a position former coworker has coveted for a while, and it's really hard to get into due to limited spots. Someone brought up former coworker and asked if anyone had experience working with her. I kept it brief, but basically explained they'd be a horrible fit and I would never recommend her. Moral of the story, you never know who will make or break you in the future. I've always heard the saying, treat everyone like they'll be interviewing you someday, which is basically the same premise. But you honestly never know who knows who. It's a small world. In high school, I was one of those people that had 1 or 2 friends in every clique. I had some anime friends, some hard friends at the smoke pit, some drama friends. I didn't care. I tried my best to be nice to everyone. There was this one rather weird girl that everyone bullied, but I didn't care that she was weird. I'd say hi to her in the hallway. But wouldn't you know, a few years later that girl showed up to my work Christmas party, and it turns out that she was my boss's daughter, who then told me that his daughter is autistic. So the moral of the story is, just be kind to people, okay? Unless they deserve petty revenge, then of course do that. Kid got me into trouble, so I ratted him out. So back in early elementary school, I was friends with the troublemaker kid, the one who literally went out of his way to break every rule. This kid framed me for something he did, and I never let that go. Now, one thing kids would do is take pencils and put the eraser end in the electric sharpener, and the teachers obviously didn't want that to happen, so it was against the rules. This kid, of course, did it in spite of the rules. So I got a master plan. I gave him a pencil with dinosaur designs on it and asked him to sharpen the wrong end. Of course, given the prospect of breaking the rule, he took the opportunity with sparkling eyes. So while the teacher wasn't looking, he started to sharpen off the eraser. Then I started to cry. I started bawling my eyes out, and the teacher turned around and saw the kid sharpening the wrong end of a pencil and me wailing like I was stabbed in the side. I told her, "Kid stole my favorite dinosaur pencil and ruined it." I didn't give a crap about the pencil, it was just one I found in a drawer at my house. The teacher chewed him out, and he had to call his parents. Kid never messed with me again. Now, I already love petty revenge, but when kids commit petty revenge, I'm here for it. And that kid definitely deserved that. But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed those 3 petty revenge stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit stories. Bye!